So talk a little bit about like your musical background. Are you Indian?
Yes, I am Indian. I was born in Chennai, India, which is South India, and I grew up in California. So musically, in my background, I started singing when I was about 4. I started learning Indian classical music from my mother, and just that's how I started singing. And I progressed that till now. I still sing Indian classical music and all that. But I got into like R&B, like Stevie Wonder, Donny Hathaway, like around 7th, 8th grade, and then like some more like poppy type stuff, like Justin Timberlake and stuff in high school. And then I really got into hip hop when I got into Berkeley. So like Kanye, Lauryn Hill, Lupe, like a bunch of different artists. And more recently, I've been into like indie stuff, like Bon Iver, Sufjan Stevens. But I guess I just listed like my influences. But my background, like I started writing music when I started Berkeley in 2004. And it's just been a process of growth from there. I mean, I started, the first song I wrote, I'm not too proud of. I mean, it was okay. But from there, I just kept writing more and just listening to a lot of music and being around a lot of musicians. And just progressed from there.
If you want to come a little bit closer, it's a little bit louder.
Oh, yeah.
So talk to us a little bit about Berkeley. The school, were you like in any clubs and?
We don't. I mean, maybe there are clubs there, but I don't really. I haven't been a part of that. But Berkeley, just as an environment, is dope. It's great. It's just musicians everywhere and different types of musicians.
And is that where you met AJ Raphael?
That is where I met AJ.
And Jess Delgado?
Yeah, all of them. Yeah. So me and AJ started school at the same time. Jess is, I think, a little bit older than me. But yeah, I met them. Great people. And they got me they put me onto the YouTube route. So that was cool. But yeah, Berkeley as a place is just a great place to meet musicians and just like get inspired.
Carmen, Nails Gone.
I didn't meet them through Berkeley, but I do know them because I was in LA and I met them. So yeah, I know them as well.
Was Amir there when you were in Berkeley, or?
No, they're way back.
Oh really?
Those cats are older. Nothing against that. Old people are great, but they're a little bit older than me. But
do you want to talk a little bit about Carmen, or do you don't really have too much to say about
great people, really positive cats doing what they're doing. I mean, nothing against them. I mean, really, I dig what they're doing. I mean, their lane is completely different from mine. I look at my music as less pop, a little bit more eclectic in terms of just like different influences kind of coming together. But I mean, their hustle is on really cool. Like I think they're old. They're like 27, 28, and they've been pushing and pushing. And they really had a process as to how they got to where they are. So a lot of respect to them. And it's cool for someone like me who's also an independent artist right now, who's using YouTube as a means of putting stuff out, using the blogosphere and all of that, to see that it's possible to be from where I'm at right now, like an up-and-coming artist with a buzz, to be like a really big artist with my name everywhere. You know? So yeah, they're definitely an inspiration in one sense of the term.
Okay. Talk to us a little bit about Raw Sessions, because Nils is also the manager for Carmen, and he also does Raw Sessions. So
Raw Sessions is great.
You were featured on it.
Yeah, so I did a Raw session when I was in LA. I think in spring. Yeah, spring of 2011. Yeah. So about a year ago, and that was cool. I mean, it's a really good platform. It's a cool idea of just like really high quality audio and video, stripped down stuff, and it worked for me because I just put out a version of, a single, Limitless, and then right after that, people followed up with the acoustic version, which I think a decent amount of people like the acoustic version better than the produced version.
Yeah.
I like it too.
I love it.
I mean, honestly, I was kind of a fan of the acoustic version a little bit more too, so it's cool. But yeah, Raw Sessions is great. Nils is a great dude.
Yeah.
Really great dude. Smart and knows what to do and when to do it.
So that actually leads me to my next question. Talk to us a little bit about Limitless. Limitless
is the first single I've ever put out. So that was a year ago. Less than a year ago. It was April of 2011. Yeah, that was an exciting process just because it was the first music video I did and all that stuff. And actually, the director of that music video is part of Raw Session, and his name's Eric Zimmerman. So that was cool. But it was interesting because the music I made, that song is very different than the music I'm making now. That is, once again, a lot more mainstream, top 40. And I was in LA for a year, and I feel like that environment really influenced me to make more mainstream music, or rather pressured me to make mainstream music. But nevertheless, that was an exciting time because it was the first time I put out a single with a music video and all that shit. But yeah, that was Limitless. It was I still hold that song dear to me. It was really great for me writing. It was a really fun process. Really. Should we move?
I mean, you can like just hold it up, I guess.
All right, cool. But yeah, Limitless was great. But yeah, that was the first single. Since then, I think I've progressed a decent amount.
Okay.
I've been able to articulate what I want musically from myself more, and the stuff I'm making now, I think, is a lot more in that way.
Okay, so the stuff that you're making now is 2 a.m. Prayer. Was your latest one?
Latest song I put out was Talk Entropy.
Okay.
Oh, Entropy.
Right,
I love
that's,
that.
Okay, that's the one we couldn't figure out.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
This one, yeah.
Yeah. So I guess it's a lot more. It brings together. I call my genre now. My genre is like urban indie pop because there are some hooky like pop elements, but like urban, like R&B soul mixed with some hip hop, with some like indie rock or folk influences all and pop influences all put into one.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Entropy is a really good example of that because we sampled Bonham there, and there's definitely, especially in the version I'll be putting on the album, there's definitely some more like urban feel. There's an urban feel with like the sequence kick and all that. Nice. But lyrically it's a little bit more. I mean I like to write stuff that people have to actually think about rather than just something that they can just. I mean it's nice to just have a hook that people can just like hang on to and we found love, man. That's cool. But like right now I'm at the point where I'm really writing stuff to express myself in a way that makes sense to me but might not make sense to other people, but I think it's a really beautiful process because they get an insight into my mind, which is really cool.
And that actually leads me to my next question.
Great, man. We're
Solitude, your album.
Yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about that and when it's coming out.
The album is not titled, dude.
Oh, okay. I thought you said Solitude back there.
Did I?
No? Really?
I mean, it could be Solitude. Well, maybe it will be. I'm not sure.
Solitude. I wrote down Solitude album. I don't know for some reason.
But it's not titled yet. But the track list is tentatively like set.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of going to be a concept record. I won't say about what yet because I don't want to constrain myself if I decide to change the concept.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be it's dope. I'm planning to start recording in February. Mix some live instrumentation with some sequencing stuff, live vocals, and hopefully it'll be out like middle of 2012.
Okay.
So yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Name some names who you worked with or planning on working with?
On this one, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. I'm keeping it under wraps until I'm completely sure how exactly I want to go about it. Because I've made the mistake before speaking about stuff before I've done it, just putting myself in a corner. So yeah, right now it's still very developmental, but I'm excited nevertheless.
Okay. That pretty much wraps it up.
Great.
Do you mind taking like a few pictures?
Picture it up, man.
Okay.